Hello everyone. Today we have to discuss about introduction, history, and timeline of nanobiotechnology. Okay. These are the learning objective of today's lecture. To know about nanobiotechnology and their historical development, and understand about history as well as timeline of nanobiotechnology, and to know about historical development in the field of nanobiotechnology. So, first of all, we have to discuss about some historical perspective. Okay, so it's all begin in the winter of December 1959 in a meeting at California Institute of Technology. Okay, when a rather modest scientist that had IQ of 136 as compared to the 142 of Einstein IQ, who went by the name of Richard Feynman, and he delivered his lecture on the topic of there is a plenty of room at the bottom. Okay, and although it did not include the term nanotechnology, but the idea and concept of nanotechnology were the principal objective of his lecture. Okay, and Feynman lecture opened up a new area of physics altogether, and he described a process in which scientists could continue. So, Feynman lecture opened up a new area of physics altogether. He described a process in which scientists could control and manipulate atoms and anything which was in the size range of 10 to the power minus 9. Okay, and nanotechnology everywhere from fluoride nanocrystal in your toothpaste to gold nanoparticles that use in the early detection of various diagnosis of cancer. Okay, and future use of nanobots to cure disease. Okay, and in December 1959, Richard Feynman that delivered his lecture, and the theme of his lecture on the manipulation and control of individual atoms and molecules at California Institute of Technology. Okay, which acted as a founded step of nanotechnology and opened up a new branch altogether for physicists. Okay, and after almost a decade in his exploration of ultra precision matching, Norio Taniguchi used the term nanotechnology for the first time. Okay, nano Taniguchi, and later it was popularized by Drexler. And thus began the journey of nanotechnology and its related branches. Okay, and the term nano has been derived from the Greek word nanos, which means dwarf. And the National Nanotechnology Initiative defined nanotechnology as the manipulation of matter with at least one dimension sized between 1 to 100 nanometer. Okay, so there are a number of nanometers, approx 254,000 nanometer in a 1 inch. Okay, so think about that. It is a very small scale, and on a comparative scale, if marble were a nanometer, then 1 meter would be the size of the Earth. Think about that. Okay, so the ability of manipulate atoms and molecules at the molecular level itself is a very exciting thing. but the fact that we could use it for our benefit is even more mind blowing. And this was the exact reaction of scientists of that time. But they did not even have the apparatus to observe these atoms. Manipulating these atoms was a very far off things. But after the discovery of scanning tunneling microscope and atomic force microscopy, nanotechnology gained a very positive push toward the right direction. Okay, so even uh, the nanobiotechnology also evolved from the nanotechnology, and nanobiotechnology is an emerging field of research at the crossroad of biotechnology and nanosciences, and involved in many different disciplines, including physicists, chemists, engineers, and information technologists, and material scientists, as well as biologists. And nanoscale materials like nanoparticles, nanopores, nanoshells, nanostructure allow highly sensitive detection by specific interaction with various biomolecules on both the surface and inside the cells. Okay. So that's why a number of material has to be developed which are in nano range. Okay, and these material include nanoparticles, nanopores, nanoshells, nanostructures, and that allows highly sensitive detection by specific interaction with various biomolecules on both the surface and inside the cells. Okay, and this figure shows that how small are nano scale. Okay, so you have to see that the cell has a size approx 100 micrometer to 10 micrometer, and cell organelle has size approx 10 micrometer to 1 micrometer, and virus has size of 100 nanometer to 50 nanometer. Okay, and cell material like protein, lipid, DNA, RNA molecule has size range 10 nanometer to zero point 0.1 nanometer. Okay, so you think about that how small is the nanoscale. And this figure also illustrate the how small nanometer scale. Okay, so you have to think about that. This is tennis ball, which approx 10 to the power 9 scale. Okay, and this point approx 10 to the power 6 scale, and this cancer cells approx 10 to the power 4 to 10 to the power 5 nanometer scale, and a bacteria has 10 to the power 3 scale. Okay, and virus has 10 to the power 2 scale, and antibody has 10 scale. Okay, while glucose molecule has 1 scale, and the water molecule has 10 to the power minus 1 scale. Okay, this is nanometer scale. So you think about that, how small are 1 or 200 nanometer scale. Okay. So in the object of biological studies is often by nature of nanoscale, but in general they are not regarded as nano. Even a single molecule approach is by convention also called nano. Okay, and this figure illustrates the development in the field of nanotechnology. Okay, so you think about that during the 2000, the Scanometric DNA detection system invented and developed. Okay, and in 2001, the photo-induced conversion of silver nanoparticle to nanoprism has to develop, and electrical detection of DNA using nanoparticle probe has to be developed, and 2002 protein structure generated via uh, DPN technology, and direct patterning of oligonucleotide uh, on on insulators has to be developed around 2002, and nanoparticle with the Raman spectroscopic fingerprints developed for the DNA and RNA detection. And during 2003, the bio-barcode amplification method has to be invented, and the first supramolecular allosteric catalyst developed during 2003. And during 2004, self-assembly of mesoscopic metal polymer amplifiers has to be developed, and nanoparticle assembly on DNA-modified diatoms templates in 2004 discovered, and biomarker based detection of Alzheimer's disease biomarker developed in 2004, and the control evolution of polymer single cluster evolved in 2005, and the invention of wire lithography techniques developed in 2005. Okay, so this shows that how was the development is to be carried in the field of nanotechnology. So why important is nanotechnology? So this so the because there are sensitivity is there. So you have to see that there are some challenges in existing technology, like immunoassay work until more than 10 FM. Okay, approximately 10 to the power more than 10 to the power 6 molecule per 100 microliter. Okay, and the nucleic acid amplification PCR, NASDA, TMA techniques can detect a single target but works only for genetic materials, and no amplification method, very low concentration protein exists. Okay, so these are the some challenges for existing techniques. Okay, that's why there is need for lower assay sensitivity for protein by several order of magnitude. Okay, so that's why the nanotechnology has potential. Okay, that has sensitivity up to very small concentration they can able to detect. Okay, and like there are various nano particles, nanomaterial has to be used for this purpose, like quantum dots, nanoparticles, biobarcode. Okay, and this figure also shows that how is the sensitivity of various technologies. Like direct and enzymatic methods can only detect the limit of that trend. You have to see that. Okay, and it 10 to the power 17 molecule per 100 microliter these method can detect. Okay, like iron, fructosamine, glucose, sodium can detect by the enzymatic method, but it can only detect when the number of molecule is around 10 to the power 17 to 10 to the power 20. Okay, and the enzyme immunoassay based method can detect if the number of molecule around 10 to the power 11 to 10 to the power 14. Okay, so then these method can work, and there are various estimation can be carried by these types of methods, like parathermon and estradiol, T4 assay, T3 hormone assay, neopterin, and cortisol. Okay, and the other are THSH vessel. Okay, and so these method, how we can detect if there are less number of molecules there. So there is nucleic acid amplification we can carry it. Okay, and by the after the amplification we can detect. Okay, but this problem can be overcome by the use of nanotechnology. Okay, and by the use of nanotechnology there are various nanoparticles that can able to detect a very low concentration of solution and very low number of molecule available in the substrate or analyte. Okay, and there are various techniques for the characterization of nanoparticles. Okay, so nanoparticle characterization carried by the use of these techniques, like electron microscopy. Okay, transmission electron microscopy, scanning electron microscopy for the shape, size, surface morphology of the nanoparticles, atomic force microscopy can also be used. Dynamic light scattering can also be used, and XPS techniques, XRD techniques can also be used for the nanoparticle and crystal structure of nanoparticles. And FTR technique used for the functionalization and identification of the functionalization of the nanoparticles, and matrix assisted laser desorption ionization. A mass spectroscopy, that is MALDI-TOF, can also be utilized for the characterization of nanoparticles, and dual polarization interferometric techniques can also be used for the characterization of nanoparticles, and nuclear magnetic resonance technique also used for the characterization of nanoparticles. And if we talk about the history, okay, so as we discussed in this lecture, that one of the major problem was how we are going to the study such small object if we cannot see them. Okay, so this remained a problem until the discovery of scanning tunneling microscopy. Okay, so this was one of the most important milestone in the nanotechnology field. Okay, so the advances in nanotech tech happen in leaps and bounds even after just 4 years of discovery of scanning tunneling microscopy. Researcher at Rice University discovered fullerene, okay, which is now used to make a carbon nanotube, one of the most ubiquitous nanomaterials. Then in 1989, a very interesting things happened. Okay, that IBM spelled out its logo using 35 xenon atom, demonstrating how nanoparticles can be manipulated for our own use, giving out a message that yes, it is possible. And in 1991, the carbon nanotube was created, and which was an important step in modern computing and electronics. Because of this carbon nanotubes, superfast computer are now possible, and it has also been in use for lightweight and durable structures and in tissue engineering to act as a scaffold, and will be used in near future by NASA and for its space station. And Dr. Chad Mirkin has made um, a contribution to the field of nanotechnology, which started in 1995. Okay, and he developed a device that based on DNA detection method for assembling nanoparticles into a macroscopic materials. And they also observed that a solution of DNA assembly nanoparticles when heated turns from red to blue, and this made way for the exploitation of the optoelectronics and material properties of small colloidal particles of metals and semiconductors, which were a manifestation of their nanoscopic size. Okay, and even gold colloidal nanoparticle were assembled with the aid of DNA strand that to form macroscopic aggregates which possess modified optical and structural property. Okay, and even gold nanoparticle were surface engineered with a non-complementary DNA strand with a thiol group at one end, which have affinity for gold. Then to the solution containing these engineered particle. Okay, if DNA strands complementary to the surface oligonucleotides are added, the particles form an aggregate, and the process of aggregation can be simply reversed by thermal denaturation. And this strategy find application in a field like chemical sensing, microimaging, spectroscopic enhancement. And in 1997, he used Mercapto alkylo oligonucleotide modified gold nanoparticles probe for the sensitive colorimetric detection of up to 10 femtomole of polynucleotide. Okay, so when a single extended oligonucleotide is introduced into the solution of these particles, hybridization results in the formation of a polymeric network of particles. and this alter their structure and optical properties, which is visible as a color change. Okay, and one of the path-breaking event was the invention of dip-pen nanolithography in 1995. Okay, these are the various multifunctional nanoparticle which has to develop. Okay, and even it is a bottom-up approach wherein material is always added to a surface. Uh, Okay, and this technique is based on lithography technique that enable multi-component deposition of an array of materials like gold, silicon, plastics at nanoscale. And this technique, dip pen lithography, can fabricate a multiplexed customized pattern with a size range from 50 nanometer to 10 micrometer. And even some applications of this technique include biosensor functionalization, nanoscale sensor fabrication, nanoscale protein chip. Okay, and in 2001, he published a paper which catered to the photo-induced conversion of silver nanosphere to nanoprism. Okay, and he has to develop which can be utilized in the development of a diagnostic label on the basis of nanoparticle shape instead of nanoparticle comparison. Okay. Now continue. So this figure showing that various field which can be utilized the applications of nanoparticles. Okay, even by the 1990s, scientists began coupling nanotechnology and biotechnology in their experiment. Okay, and because their length scale uh, were compatible, but on the other hand, there were significant challenges involved, and the biological system are fundamentally wet and organic, whereas the nanofabricated system were hydrophobic and made of organic material. Okay, so the major problem faced was how we could physically couple these two divergent systems. And even some scientists circumvented this obstacle by creating nanomachines made out of natural molecule. Still, other scientists discovered or developed new coupling chemistries to provide an interface of these two divergent systems. And device research has then even developed a coupled hybrid micro electromechanical system and nano electromechanical system composed of a combination of synthetic and biological components. Okay, and even some of these use of biotechnology shown in this figure. And even nanotechnology is being used and creating waves in the public in many ways. And there have been groundbreaking discoveries in the recent past, and the term nanotechnology is becoming a common word in the livelihood of an average person. And molecular targeting of liposomal nanoparticle to tumor microenvironment is being done, and even very effective drug delivery mechanism, and a very big step towards the diagnostic and therapeutics of cancer. And even active liposome targeting to these tumor cells is done by recognizing a specific tumor receptor through tumor-specific ligand or antibodies coupled onto the surface of the liposome, or by stimulus sensitive drug carrier such as acid targeted release or enzyme triggered drug. Okay, and even Eric Drexler had put forward the concept of Gire, and it gained popularity when a newspaper allegedly suggested that the Prince of Wales had expressed fear about the Gire Guild, and he mentioned in his book Engine of Creation, one of the pioneers in the field of nanotechnology had described universal assembly, also called nanobots, that would assemble large-scale object atom by atom. Okay, this is he termed bottom-up approach, and a concept which is now known as a molecular nanotechnology. And Drexel had concerned that possible outcome could be that these nanobots would self-replicate and become out of control, consuming more and more to support the process and lives in the wake. Okay, and if we talk about the future scope, so, as you have to see in this graph, the nanotechnology is advancing toward a future which still seems far from reality, and the machines used in the world of science fiction, and which had the capability of producing any tangible object, are going to be no more a fragment of our imagination, and even scientists are working to develop machines which can alter the structure of individual atoms and molecules that allow the compatible ones to come together, and much like magnet, and to produce bigger product. And in layman term, we say that the tiny metal particle in the form of dust can be engineered to form bigger bulky chunks of a metal. Okay, so this is called bottom-up approach, and these products produced using the bottom-up approach would not only be stronger, but would also be cheaper and would reduce the manufacturing cost drastically. Okay, and this concept of molecular manufacturing could revolutionize the world, and various fields would be impacted, ranging from the medical history to the environment. And molecular manufacturing can be used to design and nanobots which could be consumed orally and would have the capability of reprogramming and restructuring the cancerous cell, and delicate surgeries can be performed using nanobots, which also have the additional advantage of leaving no scars, unlike the conventional therapy. And plastic surgery to alter the physical feature could also be performed much easily by the use of nanotechnology. On the environmental front, the ozone layer, which has been depleting ever since, it could be reconstructed with the aid of airborne nanobots, and production of the non-renewable source of energy using molecular manufacturing would diminish our dependence on these exhaustive sources. And so all the applications which we have to discuss have been considered by the researcher, but these exotic applications still don't seem realized in the near future. But going by the trends in this field, in the past 40 years, nanotechnology has a great potential, and much of it is still untouched. Okay, and even think about that since 1959, when the Richard Feynman talked about nanotechnology in a meeting at the American Physical Society. Okay, so that at that time, no one knows about the term nanotechnology. And in 1960, William McLean constructed the first even 250 microgram and 2000 RPM motor out of 13 separate parts. And in 1974, Professor Norio Taniguchi gave and used the term nanotechnology. And even in 1981, the Gerd Binning and Heinrich Rojas invented the scanning tunneling microscopy that enabled scientists to see the manipulating atoms at nanometer scale. Okay, and this technology is very much useful at that time for the characterization of nanoparticles. And even in 1985, researchers at Rice University discovered fullerene. Okay, and this fullerene nowadays developed for the synthesis of carbon nanotube. And in 1986, Gerd Winning and Kelvin F. Quat and uh, Garber together invented atomic force microscopy, one of the key contributions in the field of nanotechnology, which later used for the characterization of nanoparticles. And in 1991, Sumio Izuma of NEC discovered the carbon nanotube, okay, which is a very important discovery at that time. And because this carbon nanotube has a very unique physical and chemical properties. And in 1994, USA Sciences advisor Dr. Jake Gibbons talked about nanotechnology at the White House. Okay. And in 1995, Dr. Chad Mirkin invented a deep pan lithography, okay, which is very sophisticated technique developed for the printing. And in 1996, the first European conference was held to discuss about the emerging field of nanotechnology. And in 1997, Gyvex, the first company to research in the field of nanotechnology, is founded, and first design of nanorobotic system come into existence. And in 1999, the safety guidelines are laid around danger in the handling of nanotechnology experiment. And in 2001, F.C. Simon created DNA-fueled molecular machines that are made up of DNA. And in 2003, Jennifer West and Nomi Hellas at Rice University developed a gold nanoshell that can be used to destroy cancer cells without harming healthy cells. And in 2004, the National Cancer Institute established the Alliance for Nanotechnology in Cancer. And in 2005, researchers at IBM developed vertical nanowire transistor that can be used to produce more powerful microprocessor. And in 2006, researchers at Rice University developed a low-cost method of using nanoparticles to remove arsenic in drinking water. And in 2008, researchers at Berkeley discovered negative reflection to bend light in materials made from nanowires that used in developing optical lenses with a much higher resolution than conventional lenses. In 2010, Harvard University researchers demonstrated a nanoscale transistor to measure electrical activity in human heart cell. Researchers at New York University and China in 2010 demonstrated an assembly line method using nanorobot that built from DNA strand. Okay, so there are so many discovery till now in the field of nanotechnology has to be discovered. These are the references that we for the preparation of content. Now you have to attempt quiz, and at the end of the quiz, we have to discuss answer. So the first ever the idea and concept behind nanoscience and nanotechnology started with a talk entitled "There is a plenty of room at bottom by," and the size of nanoparticles is between, and who popularized the word nanotechnology, and who are the first scientists to describe that substances having nano dimensions possess altogether different and unique properties, and who used the word nanotechnology first time. And nanotechnology involved discipline, and nanoscale material include, and nanoparticles can be characterized by, And nanoparticles are different from their bulk counterpart due to nanomaterials used in a biosensor can be. Okay, so the correct answer in questions shown by italic. So the first ever the idea and concept behind neuroscience and nanotechnology started with a talk entitled "There is plenty of room at the bottom," given by Richard Feynman. The size of nanoparticle range between 1 to 100 nanometer scale, and Eric Drexel popularized the word nanotechnology, and Michael Faraday, first scientist to describe that substance having nanodimensions possess altogether different and unique properties. And Norio Taniguchi used the word nanotechnology first time. And nanobiotechnology is a multidisciplinary science and technology. And nanoparticles, nanopods, nanoshells, and dendrimers can be used for the nanoscale material preparation. And nanoparticles can be characterized by the various techniques like UV visible spectrophotometric analysis, transmission electron microscopy, scanning electron microscopy, Fourier transform, infrared scopy, and XRD. So all these techniques can be used for the characterization of nanoparticles. And nanoparticles are different from their bulk counterparts due to their high surface to volume ratio. Okay, and the nanomaterial used in the biosensor can be nanoparticles, nanotubes, and nanowires. So thank you everyone.